कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe, Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe, Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram, Jayo Vrindavan Dham, Jayo Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram, Jayo Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice Kirtan. Gets into the mood to approach Srimad Bhagavatam. Wonderful. So, Hare Krishna and Pranam dear devotees. So, आप सुबह से हमने अच्छा ओके So, how many people have played devotees, Prabhu? Where is the number?
20.
20. Oh, wonderful. So, out of 25, 20 have given mercy to devotees who are making this effort every day. Balance 5 also, I request. Please attempt. So, Atul Prabhu, he is usually the number 1. Today, Giriraj Das has come in top 3. क्वेश्चन सारे थोड़े से पढ़ने वाले थे कि कहीं ट्विस्ट ना दिया हो प्रभु जी लोगों ने. अनुपमा मत जी, देन श्याम प्रभु, वृंदावन पुरंदर प्रभु, Anshi Mataji, then Radhika Mataji, then Ayush, then Prabhupada Kripa Sangha, then Pinky Mataji, then Atharv, Acha, Neena Mataji, Meenakshi Radha Mataji, then Jeet Mataji, Vijay Mataji is attempting. Okay. Okay. Today we have so many wrongs. आज क्या हुआ कोई क्वेश्चन में तो आज ट्विस्ट नहीं था. वो कल का क्वेश्चन पढ़ पढ़ के लग रहा होगा कि कुछ ट्विस्ट डाले हैं. हाँ, पर ट्विस्ट
आज का सिर्फ यही ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन था.
Which one?
Duryodhan approved of heinous act
हाँ, पर this only 40%. अच्छा, 40% people have answered this one wrong.
wrong.
Oh, है ना. हाँ, so ये करेक्ट. ये हमने कल थोड़ा सा डिस्कस भी किया था कि he didn't satisfy himself, he didn't do any good for himself, nor for his master, and nor for the Pandavas. So Duryodhan, he was very upset because he killed such little sons, you know. उनको तो ये लगता था हमारे वंश के लोग हैं कि उनको मार दिया इसने. So he wasn't pleased. Oh, अच्छा, इसमें गड़बड़ हुई. Okay. So this is the thing. Okay. So thank you so much for attempting the quiz, and I hope आप सब लोगों का निर्जला एकादशी का व्रत ठीक चल रहा हो और सब जो है श्रवणम कीर्तन में लगे रहे हों. और I came from the office, also slept for 2 hours. Just feeling very drained out. So the best way is to just take a little nap and then took a bath and fresh. और अब नेपाल घूम के आए हैं, थोड़ी सी चुस्ती आ गई. All the wonderful places we saw Nepal. Oh, 24 I've attempted. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so very much. So जो एक रह गए हैं उन पे भी निवेदन करते हैं, आप भी कर लीजिए. 25 में से 25 हो जाएंगे आज हमारे. पांडव निर्जला एकादशी वाले दिन we are already at 99% people who have attended it, devotees.
I think the one left is Ronnie Prabhu itself.
Yeah, I didn't do.
Huh? You didn't do?
Why would I created?
Oh, so we have 24, but out of 24 have attempted. Oh, wonderful. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So we will straight away take a dip in the nectarian waters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namani. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Granthar Srimad Bhagavatam की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. आज मैं पढ़ रहा था वहाँ पंजाबी बाग टेम्पल में they have hired some hall और वो रात को 10 बजे से लेके सुबह 4 बजे तक उन्होंने प्रोग्राम बनाया हुआ है. कुछ कथा कीर्तन something कि the whole night, जैसे काशी में लिखा है कि like this. So 10 से 4 का उन्होंने. So I was, अभी जब मैं पढ़ रहा था मुझे लग रहा था कि probably we can stretch our Bhagavatam more so that we don't fall into मैं काफियों के हाथ में जपमाला नहीं आएगी उसके बाद. But Krishna,
You can read little longer today. Maybe we can read 1 hour today.
Correct. So we can read a little longer, and it's a good day to read. And those who want to, leave after half an hour can can leave, no problem at all. Okay, so 1741. So अब जो ये section है, ये बड़ा सुंदर section होने वाला है, क्योंकि now we will see why Srimad Bhagavatam is so important. One devotee was asking me that Prabhuji, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So yes, both are there. One gives principle, but Bhagavatam gives principles also and detail also how to apply. So by both we can go back to Godhead. But Bhagavatam में क्या है कि details हैं सारी की सारी. तो ये जितनी भी details हैं कि now how to deal within the devotees when devotees have different opinions. Guru is saying something, devotees want something else. So what is supposed to happen? So all that we will get in this section, upcoming section, ki how mature devotees like Arjuna deals and how Krishna deals with devotees like that. So then we will know हमें अपनी लाइफ में पता चलेगा कि कृष्णा भगवान किस तरह से, ऐसा नहीं है कि हम भक्ति में आ गए तो then somebody who handles a 4-year-old baby always in the lap and always giving what do you want, because the baby grows up also. Baby doesn't remain baby all through the life. So baby has to grow up, if 4-year-old baby, 5-year-old baby, 8-year-old baby, 9-year-old baby, 12-year-old, teenager, 14, 15, and then 16 becomes Kishore, and then you are supposed to take some responsibility. So that is what should happen to us also. We should not remain babies. मुझे पूछा नहीं, मैं गए नहीं, इस बार मेरा ऐसा नहीं किया. We should become mature to understand that my eternal age is not 5 years or 2 years. We have to grow up, from kindergarten to primary, from primary to secondary to higher. We have to pass out and pass the school and then go out in the field, and practice, what we have learned. We should become mature and, and help then others who are in kindergarten, and not miss those days. वो एक दिन होते थे जब सब मुझे पूछते थे, वो एक दिन था जब मेरे प्रभु जी काशी पूरी हुई कि नहीं हुई, प्रभु जी कैसा रहा काशी, वो दिन कहाँ गए. So वो दिन तो वही है, but thing is कि that the seva has to expand, and of course, somebody may choose to remain a 4-year-old, so that is also okay. That we should be patient and tolerant, and not that everybody grows in the same, but one must have an aspiration कि मुझे आगे बढ़ना है. मैं हमेशा कृष्ण के भक्तों की गोदी में नहीं खेलना चाहता, बल्कि मैं आगे भी करना. तो कैसे होता है और उस वक्त क्या होता है? So all that things we will read in Bhagavatam. What happens? Now we will see different devotees, all pure devotees, they have different opinions. Krishna has a different opinion. Now, what is to be done? How to satisfy? So that we see how Shuddha Bhakta knows what Guru wants. So Arjuna knows what Krishna wants, like that. So that we will jump into this nectarian waters of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us read as much as we can today. Pibat Bhagat, जितना पी सकते हैं उतना भागवत पीने का प्रयास करेंगे. और आप लोग भी जो हाथ खड़े करेंगे, जितना पढ़ना है उतना पढ़िए. Like don't feel shy to, when you feel tired, then you take a rest, and let us see कि ये जो है निगम कल्पतरु गलितम फलम, कि पिबतम भागवतम रसमाल्यम, कितना हमारे में टेस्ट है. We may not be a रसिक भक्त, but at least we can try to pibat Bhagavatam Rasmalyam. So let us try to read as much Srimad Bhagavatam as possible. And when you raise hands, you read as much as possible. Keep on reading, and we will see कहाँ हमारी innings खत्म होती है आज. Let us do. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Okay, so we are at 41. अथोपेत्य स्वभाषिबिरम गोविंद प्रिया सारथी न्यावेद्यात तम प्रियायै शोचन्ति आत्मजानहतान. Atha, thereafter, upetya, having reached, swa, on, shibiram, camp. Govinda, one who enlivens the senses, Lord Shri Krishna. Priya, dear. Sarathi, charioteer. Nevedyat, entrusted to. Tam, him. Priyayi, unto the dear. Shochantyai, lamenting for. Atmajan, own sons. Atam, murdered. Translation: and prepared by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. After reaching his own camp, Arjun, along with his dear friend and charioteer, Sri Krishna, entrusted the murderer unto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons. तो अश्वत्थामा को पकड़ के उन्होंने बांध के, क्योंकि उन्होंने पकड़ने गए उन्होंने ब्रह्मास्त्र चलाया, उन्होंने काउंटर किया कृष्ण के कहने पे, और फिर उसको पकड़ के लाके, जैसा उन्होंने अपनी पत्नी को वचन दिया था द्रौपदी को, लाके उसके सामने खड़ा कर दिया. Purport: the transcendental relation of Arjun and Krishna is of dearmost friendship, which means उनका जो भाव है वो क्या है? साख्य भाव. Eternal relationship, स्थायी भाव is साख्य भाव. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself has claimed Arjun as his dearmost friend. Every living being is thus related with the Supreme Lord by some sort of affectionate relation, either as a servant or as a friend, as a parent, or as an object of conjugal love. Everyone thus can enjoy the company of the Lord in the spiritual realm if he at all desires and sincerely tries for it by the process of Bhakti Yoga. क्या कह रहे हैं प्रभुपाद? हरे कृष्णा. So Prabhupada is saying कि ना केवल ऐसा नहीं है कि अर्जुन has a eternal relationship इन साख्य भाव, और भावों के अंदर हम भगवान के साथ एक रिलेशनशिप अपना कर सकते हैं. और वो उसके लिए क्या करना है? If at all, if we desire. Do we desire? Oh, I don't want to be here. I want to go play with Krishna. I want to go serve Krishna there. We will have mixed desires like this. We want both the laddus. It is nice to be here in the family only, and then have that relationship with the deity Krishna like that. But wo bhavana is not so cheap. But what Prabhupada is saying, first we have to ichha. We must have a desire. Then only Paramatma will fulfill it. I want to go. And then what is the way? Way is that we become a sincere devotee by practicing Bhakti Yoga sincerely, Prabhupada is saying. So this is the way. So it is not he is the eternal Mabevansha Jiva Loke. So we are his Ansh. So as a father has a relationship with the son, we also have our relationship with Krishna. Thing is, am I desiring for it? Like this. And there are many services which are waiting, which can be extended in the spiritual world also. Dasanu, 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 dasa. So like that. And this is a training ground for us here to learn. Okay, next look. Tatha hritam pashuvat pashabaddham avan mukham karma jaguppishtena nirikshya Krishna apakritam guru sutam vama swabhava kripa nanamacha. Tatha, thus, ahartam brought in, pashuvat like an animal, pashabandham tied with ropes, avak mukham without a word in his mouth, karma activities, jaguppishtena being heinous, nirikshya by seeing, Krishna Draupadi, apakritam the doer of the degrading, Guru the teacher, Sutam son, Vama beautiful, Swabhava nature, Kripya out of compassion, Nanama offered obeisances, Cha and. So आपने पढ़ा यहाँ जैसे Krishna, so we should be careful. And I mean Krishna Bhav Gahi Janardana, but when we say the name is Krishna, not Krishna. When you say Krishna, it means Draupadi. But anyway, when we are saying भगवान को पुकार लगाते हो, हे कृष्णा, so he understands we are calling him, not Draupadi. So that much is there, like this. Translation. Sri Sud Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Ashwathama, who was bound with ropes like an animal and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature, and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respect as a Brahman. Now, see, now Draupadi's character will come up. His nature, his character will come up. What has happened? Ashwathama was condemned by the Lord himself, and he was treated by Arjun just like a culprit, not like the son of a Brahman or a teacher. But when he was brought before Srimati Draupadi, she, although grieved for the murder of her sons, and although the murderer was present before her, could not withdraw the due respect generally offered to a Brahman or to the son of a Brahman. This is due to her mild nature as a woman. Women as a class are no better than boys. Therefore, they have no discretionary power like that of a man. Ashwathama proved himself to be an unworthy son of Dronacharya or of a Brahman. For this reason, he was condemned by the greatest authority, Lord Sri Krishna. Yet a mild woman could not withdraw her nature courtesy for a Brahman. So isme kya hai? Why is saying that women are like boys? Because they are innocent. They are emotional, they are innocent. And what is being said? Why man? Because that one should be also discriminatory. One should not just go with the emotions, but one should also be very discriminatory. In that sense, Prabhupada is saying, even to date, in a Hindu family, a woman shows proper respect to the Brahman caste. However fallen and heinous a Brahmabandhu may be. But the men have begun to protest against Brahmabandhus who are born in the families of good Brahmanas, but by actions are less than Shudras. तो ये स्वभाव है महिलाओं का, जो कह रहे हैं प्रभुपाद, कि वो चाहे गिरे हुए ब्राह्मण भी हों, वो उनको भी रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं. The specific word used in this shloka is Vam Svabhav, mild and gentle by nature. A good man or woman accepts anything very easily, but a man of average intelligence does not do so. But anyway, we should not give up our reason and discriminatory power just to be gentle. So we can be gentle, and at the same time, we should also be discriminatory, like this. So one should not be just gentle for the sake of saying we are gentle. Like this. So like this. So this is the meaning Prabhupada is saying, that one should be gentle, but one should be always discriminatory. One must have good discriminatory power to judge a thing on its merit. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. Ashwathama may be respected by a good-natured woman, but that does not mean he is as good as a genuine Brahman. So being of that gentle nature, so we accept, Prabhupada is saying, that is accepted, that he should be respected, but one should have the discriminatory, he is not a genuine Brahman. Because जो उन्होंने किया कार्य, वो इस तरह से वो गलत कार्य किया है, कि he has to be punished, he has to be criticized and punished, and just because he's he's the son of a Brahman, so it should not be like that. And we also see similar, you see in Krishna Lila also, you see Satyabhama and Rukmani, one has a warm nature and one has a it's called, I think, prakhar nature, like this. So you see gopis also, prakhar, madhya, Mridvi or Vam, different. You can see in Nectar of Devotion, it tells the nature of different devotees and which gopi has which kind of a nature, like this. So all has that, because there is a variety in the spiritual world. So like that. So all these devotees, you will see now, they have different nature, and how Krishna will bring the change. Okay, next one. Uvacha cha asahanti asya bandhana anayananam sati mucyantam esha brahmano nitram guru. Uvacha said, cha and asahanti being unbearable for her, asya his, bandhana being bound, anyanam bringing him, sati the devoted, mucyatam, just get him released, esha this, brahmana a brahmana, nitram our guru teacher. She could not tolerate Ashwathama being bound by ropes. And being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a Brahman, our spiritual master. As soon as Ashwathama was brought before Draupadi, she thought it intolerable that a Brahman should be arrested like a culprit and brought before her in that condition, especially when the Brahman happened to be a teacher's son. Arjuna arrested Ashwathama, knowing perfectly well that he was a son of Dronacharya. Krishna also knew him to be so, but both of them condemned the murderer without consideration of his being the son of a Brahman. According to revealed scriptures, a teacher or a spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, we cannot hear you. I think the mic setting needs to be updated. Or if you have changed the places. Still can't hear you.
वो मैंने वैसे झटके में निकाल दिया. अब ठीक है?
Yes, it is fine. We can hear, but it is low.
क्योंकि वो माइक चला गया. अब ठीक है? मैं थोड़ा जोर से बोलता हूँ.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So it is not that we remain sentimental and we say, oh, he is a teacher, he cannot be done. He is a devotee, he cannot be punished. He is so and so, he cannot be. It is not, because that is just being sentimental. So especially when you take a decision, you are in administration, then you take call. And also as a devotee, we also have to be discriminated, like this. It is not just sentimental alone. So when we are dealing, we should be very clear. And if somebody needs to be rejected, Prabhupada also says in I don't know where he says, but he says that if a Vaishnava is not of a good quality, then we should not associate with him, and just respect him from afar, like that. So we should not see some devotee has done something which is pretty bad, and then we say, no, we should not take any call because he's a devotee. Not like that. So that is just being sentimental. So here it's saying that a guru is also called an acharya, or a person who has personally assimilated all the essence of Shastra and has helped his disciples to adopt the ways. Ashwathama failed to discharge the duties of a Brahman or teacher, and therefore he was liable to be rejected from the exalted position of a Brahman. On this consideration, both Lord Shri Krishna and Arjuna were right in condemning Ashwathama. So two things are there. We can condemn, but we don't hate the person. So, so it is, even if somebody is condemned, somebody is thrown out for the society or whatever, for some reason, we don't hate the person per se, but we take the decision, whatever is to be taken on. On this consideration, both Lord Shri Krishna and Arjuna were right in condemning Ashwathama.
But to a good lady like Draupadi, now somebody may say he was criticizing that she's a woman, mild-hearted, no discriminatory power. But see how Prabhupada is glorifying Draupadi's character. But to a good lady like Draupadi, the matter was considered not from an angle of Shastric vision, but as a matter of custom. By custom, Ashwatthama was offered the same respect as offered to his father. It was so because generally the people accept the son of a Brahman as a real Brahman by sentiment only. Factually, the matter is different. A Brahman is accepted on the merit of qualification and not on the merit of simply being the son of a Brahman. But in spite of all this, Draupadi desired that Ashwatthama be at once released. And it was all the same a good sentiment for her. This means that a devotee of the Lord, this means that a devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sort of tribulations personally, but still such devotees are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. These are the characteristics of one who is a pure devotee of the Lord. Punchline. So this is the gem. So as we go into this, Pibad Bhagavatam, then as we drink, then we will find that इसमें Pibad Bhagavata Rasmalayam. So इसमें there are many gems. You can get many gems which we can note down and apply in our daily life, and then we will make great progress and fast progress in Krishna consciousness. So at one place Prabhupada is not criticizing, you can say there's a critic on the nature of a man and a woman. But other than Prabhupada is saying that a devotee of the Lord, because devotee is at the level of soul, not a man and woman, it's just the nature. But the nature of a devotee is that he can tolerate all sort of tribulations personally, but still such devotees are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. वो हमने स्टोरी सुनी है बचपन में, साधु जो बिच्छू निकालता है पानी में से, बिच्छू बार बार डसता है और वो बार बार वो पीड़ा से वो छोड़ देते हैं, और वो कोई बोलता है कि आप क्यों निकाल रहे हो, तो आपको काटेगा ही काटेगा, इसकी नेचर है. तो द साधु रिप्लाइज कि वो बिच्छू की नेचर है, पर ये मेरी नेचर है कि मैं उसको पानी में डूबते नहीं देख सकता. So like this. So even to the enemy, they are unkind. So what to speak with the devotees? How should be our relationship with the devotees? How kind one should be to the devotees. And she understands is a son of my guru, my husband's guru. So how much he should be taken care of. So these are characteristics of a pure devotee of the Lord. Okay. So next shloka. So who's next to read? It's Ronnie Prabhu. Go ahead, Ronnie Prabhu.
I think first is Ayush Prabhu.
Okay, Ayush. So let me read the shloka. Saharasyo dhanurveda savisarga upashamyana astargamascha bhavata shikshito yad anugraha. Yes.
Tatha.
One second. Ronnie Prabhu, can you make the font bigger? What is the saying? Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sarahasya, confidential. Dhanu Veda, knowledge in the art of manipulating bows and arrows. Savisarga, releasing. Upasamanyama, controlling. Astra, weapons. Grama, all kinds of. Cha, and. Bhavata, by yourself. Shikshita, learned. Yat, by whose. Anugrahat, mercy of. Translation. It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. Purport. Dhanurveda or military science was taught by Dronacharya with all its confidential secrets of throwing and controlling by Vedic hymns. Gross military science is dependent on material weapons, but finer than that is the art of throwing the arrows, saturated with Vedic hymns, which act more effectively than gross material weapons like
machine guns, or atomic bombs. The control is by Vedic mantras or the transcendental science of sound. It is said in the Ramayana that Maharaja Dasrath, the father of Lord Sri Rama, used to control arrows by sound only. He could pierce his target with his arrow only by hearing the sound without seeing the object. So this is a finer military science than that of the gross material military weapons used nowadays. Arjuna was taught all this, and therefore Draupadi wished that Arjuna feel obliged to Acharya Drona for all these benefits. And in the absence of Dronacharya, his son was his representative. That was the opinion of the good lady Draupadi. It may be argued why Dronacharya, a rigid Brahmana, should be a teacher in military science, but the reply is that a Brahmana should become a teacher, regardless of what his department of knowledge is. A learned Brahmana should become a teacher, a priest, and a recipient of charity. A bona fide Brahmana is authorized to accept such professions.
Oh, uh, so we can see how uh, Prabhupada is speaking about the science of this Dhanu Vidya, or fighting, and all that he's speaking military science, and also saying that how Ashwatthama is being looked upon because he's the son of the Guru. Guru has left the body, so he is a representative, and so being the representative of his father, and who's a Guru also there, like this. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now next one. Yes, Rani Prabhu, next one is your turn.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, go ahead.
स एष भगवान् द्रोणाः प्रजारूपेण वर्तते तस्यात्मनो अर्धं पत्नी आस्ते नान्वगाद् वीरशु कृपि सह he एषः certainly Bhagavan Lord Dronacharya Prajarupena in the form of his son Ashwatthama Vartate is existing Tasya his Atmanah of the body Ardham half Patni wife Aste living no not Anvagat undertook Veerasuhu having the son present Kripi the sister of Kripacharya. He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife Kripi did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son. The wife of Dronacharya, Kripi, is the son of Kripacharya, a devoted wife who is according to revealed scriptures the better half of her husband, is justified in embracing voluntary death along with her husband if she is without issue. But in the case of the wife of Dronacharya, she did not undergo such a trial because she had her son. The representative of her husband, a widow is a widow only in the name if there is a son of her husband existing. So in either case, Ashwatthama was the representative of Dronacharya. And therefore, killing Ashwatthama would be like killing Dronacharya. That was the argument of Draupadi against the killing of Ashwatthama.
Yes, Prabhu. So, 1 second.
Okay.
How Prabhupada is glorifying, and also you see how मैं पिछले श्लोक में भूल गया आप लोगों को बताना कि कैसे that all devotees have different nature and they all want to serve. So you see how Draupadi has a mild nature, or I give an example of Satyabhama, who has a little more aggressive nature, Rukmani very mild, and then the Sakhis also you'll find different nature. And you see, even Prabhupada, that we had, when we had different natured women in our movement, that Prabhupada he engaged them in seva, and they all became glorified. So, like you can see, Yamuna Mataji, she was very aggressive, very go-getter type, and she will do so many of them. I mean, just one name come to my mind. And then the opposite spectrum is a Devi Shakti Mataji, very polite, very humble. She would just remain back. And you see, both of them, they grew up and to become such wonderful devotees. So, yes, it is nice to be humble, and it is good to have that swabhav, which is normal. But whatever is there can be used if guided properly in the bhakti, like this. So these different natures and characters of women, they will come up, and we can see and nobody is criticized to being gentle or being aggressive, but it is accepted because there is a variety accepted in the spiritual world. Yes, Johnny, go ahead. Next.
Tad dharmagya mahabhaga bhavatbhir gauravam kulam vrijinam narhati praptam pujyam vandyam abhikshanaha shanasha. Tat, therefore, dharmagya, one who is aware of the principles of religion, mahabhaga, the most fortunate, bhavadbhi, by your good self, gauravam, glorified, kulam, the family, vrijinam, that which is painful, no, not arhati, does deserve, praptam, for obtaining, pujyam, the worshipable, vandyam, respectable, abhikshanasaha, constantly. O most fortunate one who know the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. A slight insult for a respectable family is sufficient to invoke grief. Therefore, a cultured man should always be careful in dealing with worshipful family members.
Yes, go on, Prabhuji.
Marudid asya janani gautami pati devata yathaham mrita vatsarta rodhi me ashru mukhi muhu. Ma, do not. Rodit, make cry. Asya, his. Janani, mother. Gautami, the wife of throne. Patit devata, chaste. Yatha, as his, as has. Aham, myself. Mrit vatsa, one whose child is dead. Artha, distressed. Rodhini, crying. Ashru mukhi, tears in his eyes. Muhu, constantly. My lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me. Sympathetic good lady as she was, Srimati Draupadi did not want to put the wife of Dronacharya in the same position of childlessness, both from the point of motherly feelings and from the respectable position held by the wife of Dronacharya.
So you see, again we see the quality of a devotee. That she says कि जैसे मेरा पुत्र मर गए छोटे पुत्र और मैं रह गया और उनके पति है नहीं, so don't make her do like this. So now what I suggest is Prabhu ki read alternatively. Who have raised the hands? So Vrindavan Vrindar Prabhu can read one or two, then Radhika Mataji can read, and then we can give the cycle, and you can again raise the hand so that it brings a variety. Yes, Vrindavan Vrindar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yahi kopitam brahmakulam rajanayarjitatam bhi tatkulam pradhatyashu sanubandham sucharpitam. Yahi, by those, kopitam, enraged, brahmakulam, the order of the Brahmanas, Rajnaya, by the administrative order, Ajit, unrestricted, Atmabhi, by oneself, Tat, that, Kulam, family, Pradhati, is burnt up, Ashru, within no time, sa anubandham, together with family members, sucha arpitam, being put into grief. Translation. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that race burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon them all. Purport. The Brahmana order of society or the spiritually advanced caste or community and the members of such highly elevated families were always held in great esteem by the other subordinate castes, namely the administrative kingly order, the mercantile order, and the laborers.
तो सबको बता रहे हैं कि जो ब्राह्मण है, चाहे क्षत्रिय हो, चाहे वैश्य हो, शूद्र हो, everybody respects a Brahman. So that is the culture. So like that. Yes, go ahead. Read the next one.
Sut uvacha dharmyam nyayam sakrunam nirvalikam samam mahat raja dharm suto ragya pratyanandvacho dvija. Sut uvach. Sut Goswami said, dharmyam, in accordance with the principles of religion, nyayam, justice, sa karunam, full of mercy, nirvyalikam, without duplicity in dharma, samam, equity, mahat, glorious, raja, the king, dharmasuta, son, ragya, by the queen, pratyanadat, supported, vacha, statements, dvija, O Brahmanas. Translation. Sut Goswami said, O Brahmanas, King Yudhishthira fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity. Purport. Maharaj Yudhishthira, who was the son of Dharmraj or Yamraj, fully supported the words of Queen Draupadi in asking Arjun to release Ashwatthama. One should not tolerate the humiliation of a member of a great family. Arjun and his family were indebted to the family of Dronacharya because of Arjuna's learning the military science from him. If ingratitude were shown to such a benevolent family, it would not be at all justified from the moral standpoint. The wife of Dronacharya, who was the half-body of the great soul, must be treated with compassion. And she should not be put into grief because of her son's death. That is compassion. Such statements by Draupadi are without duplicity because actions should be taken with full knowledge. The feeling of equality was there because Draupadi spoke out of her personal experience. A barren woman cannot understand the grief of a mother. Draupadi was herself a mother, and therefore her calculation of the depth of Kripi's grief was quite to the point. And it was glorious because she wanted to show proper respect to a great family.
Yes, Sari is a culture. एक माँ का दर्द समझ सकती है in that manner. So from a moral point of view, whatever she is doing was right. Or Yudhishthira Maharaj bhi, he also agreed, yes, whatever she is saying is Satyavachan. Yes, true.
Should I continue?
You can read.
Nakula Sahadevascha Yuyudhano Dhananjaya Bhagavan Devaki Putro Ye Chanyayascha Yoshita. Nakul, Sahadev, Cha and Yuyudhana, Satyaki, Dhananjaya, Arjun, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Devaki Putra, the son of Devaki, Lord Shri Krishna, Ye those, Cha and others, Ya those, Cha and Yoshita ladies. Translation. Nakul and Sahadev, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjun, the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, son of Devaki, and the ladies and others all unanimously agreed with the king.
तो ये सब मान गए कि जो द्रौपदी कह रही है वो बिल्कुल ठीक है. What she is telling is the right thing. So now we see another point of view. Yes, Prabhu. Read the next one. Now, twist.
Other members were
Let him read this one. Go ahead. Vrindavan.
Yes. Tatrahamarshito bhimastasya shreyan vada smrita na bhartur natmanascharte yohan suptan shishun vritha. Tatra, thereupon, aha said Amarshitaha in an angry mood, Bhim, tasya his, Shreyan, ultimate good, Vadha, killing, Smrita, recorded, Na note, Bhartu of the master, Na nor, Atmana of his own self, Cha and Arthe for the sake of, Ya, one who, Ahan, killed, Suptan, sleeping, Shishun, children, Vritha, without purpose. Translation. Bhima, however, angrily disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit, who has murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interest.
Interesting. So Bhim, he agreed. He's angry and he has disagreed because he has killed innocent children who were sleeping for no purpose. So now he says no, he didn't agree with Draupadi. So now let's see what Krishna has to say. Next one, who's next? Radhika Mataji, read. And we can, because now we are reading like not like our regular class, so you can read the leave the word to word, just shloka and the translation and the part. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, will you please read the shloka for me?
Sure, Mataji. निशम्य भीम गदिताहं द्रौपद्याश्च चतुर्भुजा आलोक्य वदनं सख्योरिदम् आहा हसन एवा.
Synonyms.
No,
Nisan.
just leave the synonym, just read the translation.
Okay, Prabhuji. Translation. Chaturbhuj, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhim, Draupadi, and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjun, and he began to speak as if smiling. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna had two arms, and why he is designated as four-armed is explained by Sridhar Swami. Both Bhim and Draupadi held opposite views about killing Ashwathama. Bhim wanted him to be immediately killed, whereas Draupadi wanted to save him. We can imagine Bhim ready to kill while Draupadi is obstructing him. And in order to prevent both of them, the Lord discovered another two arms. Originally, the primeval Lord Shri Krishna displays only two arms, but in his Narayan feature, he exhibits four. In his Narayan feature, he resides with his devotees in the Vaikuntha planets, where in his original Shri Krishna feature, he resides in the Krishna local planet, far, far above the Vaikuntha planet in the spiritual sky. Therefore, if Shri Krishna is called Chaturbhuj, there is no contradiction. If need be, he can display hundreds of arms, as he exhibited his Vishwarup shown to Arjun. Therefore, one who can display hundreds and thousands of arms can also manifest four whenever needed. When Arjun was perplexed about what to do with Ashwathama, Lord Shri Krishna, as the very dear friend of Arjun, voluntarily took up the matter just to make solution, and he was smiling also.
So, जो भगवान है वो किसके आते हैं? परित्रणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. So परित्रणाय साधूनां and विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां. So because when Lord Vishnu comes, so he is also maintainer. So has both the things. So for them, so two arms are Shankra and Kamal, the lotus for the devotees, and for demons here Chakra and Gada. So he is the one who is doing all these things. Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan, he doesn't do any killing. He doesn't have to do all these things. But because Narayana is his avatar, so whenever he wants, he can expand himself as that. So, but here he's expanding just to Just a transcendental vision is given to us कि क्या हो रहा है उस वक्त कि जैसे ही वो एक कह रहा है कि मार दो दूसरा कह रहा है कि नहीं छोड़ दो. So then Lord instantly took 4 arms and he said, wait, hold on. So let us see. Yes, this is the next one, Manas.
Prabhuji Shloka.
Yes. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Brahma Bhundar Nahantavya Atatayi Vadarhana Maya Vibhyoram Amnatam Pariprahi Anushasanam Kuru Prati Shrutam Satyam Yattat Santvya Yattat Santvya Veta Priyam cha Bhimsenasya Panchalya Maham Evacha. Yes.
Translation. The personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna said, a friend of a Brahman is not to be killed, but if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. All these rulings are in scriptures and you should act accordingly. You have to fulfill your promise to your wife and you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimsen and me. Purport. Arjun was perplexed because Ashwatthama was to be killed as well as spared according to different scriptures cited by different persons. As a Brahma Bandhu or a worthless son of Brahman, Ashwatthama was not to be killed, but he was at the same time an aggressor also. And according to the rulings of Manu, an aggressor, even though he be a Brahman, and what to speak of an unworthy son of a Brahman, is to be killed. Dronacharya was certainly a Brahman in the true sense of the term, but because he stood in the battlefield, he was killed. But although Ashwatthama was an aggressor, he stood without any fighting weapons. The ruling is that an aggressor, when he is without a weapon or chariot, cannot be killed. All these were certainly perplexities. Besides that, Arjun had to keep the promise he had made before Draupadi just to pacify her. And he also had to satisfy both Bhim and Krishna, who advised killing him. This dilemma was present before Arjun, and the solution was awarded by Krishna.
So this is the thing. So what is Krishna telling him? Okay, now you have to satisfy everybody. So he's saying Draupadi wants to, Arjun is saying, I promised my wife I'll bring him, and so you can give him punishment. So I brought given punishment. And Draupadi is saying no. He, from many angles of vision, he cannot be killed. And Bhima and Yudhishthir and other devotees who are standing there, they are saying yes, she's right. But Bhima is saying no, he did a very heinous crime. He must be killed. That is the right punishment for a person like him. So Krishna is smiling and he's saying, yes, it is okay. So he's saying now you do and so you satisfy all of them and you also satisfy me. That's why he's smiling. Now you do this. Satisfy Bhima, Draupadi, Yudhishthir, and satisfy me also at the same time. So this we can see how mature devotees behave. They understand the mood of the Guru and they act accordingly. And ये हमने पहले भी सुना था किस तरह से कि all these perplexities जो कृष्णा दुविधा में डालते हैं अपने भक्तों को या कष्ट में डालते हैं, वो उनकी qualities को उभारने के लिए करते हैं कि look at the quality of my devotee. So for them, he puts them into such condition, and in such condition, their qualities बाहर निखर के आते हैं. Okay. Yes. So next one. This is the next one. Okay.
Prabhuji Shloka.
Yes, this is the next one.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Screen पे. Okay. Suta uvacha Arjuna sahasa agya harer hardam athasina manim jahar murdhanyam dvijasya sa murdhajam.
Translation. Sut Goswami said, just then Arjun could understand the motive of the Lord by his equivocal orders, and thus with his sword he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. Purport. Contradictory orders of different persons are impossible to carry out. Therefore, a compromise was selected by Arjun by his sharp intelligence, as he separated the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. This was as good as cutting off a head, and yet his life was saved for all practical purposes. Here, Ashwatthama is indicated as twice born. Certainly, he was twice born, but he fell down from his position, and therefore he was properly punished.
And so now you see how he did and how he will justify. He is doing justice to Draupadi, and Bhima, and also satisfying Krishna also. Yes. Next one, please. मेरी आवाज कम है. Okay, Prabhuji. There's a mic near the Prabhuji. I can't sit down. Okay. Okay. So that's it. For some time.
No problem, Prabhu. It is okay. It's just that I have to concentrate more on hearing. That's
I'm
all.
sorry. I'll sit for some time.
I'll switch off the fan, Prabhuji. It's okay.
No, don't switch on. Don't switch. You sit comfortably. Yes. Yes, Mom.
Shlok, Prabhuji.
अच्छा ये मैंने पढ़ना है. Okay. Okay.
So
विमुच्यराशनाबद्धं बालहत्या हताप्रभं तेजसा मनिना शिबिरं निर्यापयात्. Yes, ma'am.
Translation. Ashwatthama had already lost his bodily luster due to infanticide, and now, moreover, having lost the jewel from his head, he lost even more strength. Thus, he was unbound and driven out of the camp. Purport. Thus, being insulted and humiliated, Ashwatthama was simultaneously killed and not killed by the intelligence of Lord Krishna and Arjuna.
है ना. तो देखिए उन्होंने क्या किया, उसका वध भी किया और वध नहीं भी किया. Wonderful. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, next, who's there? Anand Vilasni Mataji, you can read from the next verses, 57 onwards. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go ahead.
Text 57. Vipanam dravinadanam sthanan nirayapanam tatha esha hi brahma bandhunam vadho nanyasti dehika. Translation. Cutting the hair from his head, depriving him of his wealth, and driving him from his residence are the prescribed punishments for the relative of a Brahman. There is no injunction for killing the body. Text 58. Putrushokatura sarve Pandava saha Krishnaya swanam mratanam yat pratyam chakrur nirhanadikam. Translation. Thereafter, the sons of Pandu and Draupadi, overwhelmed with grief, performed the proper ritual for the death bodies of their relatives. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the first canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Son of Drona Punished.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mother. Go to the next chapter, the most wonderful chapter in the, hear about the most, Prabhupada says, the most intelligent woman in the universe or something like that. Prabhupada explained Kunti Maharani, and now prayers by Kunti Maharani and Parikshit saved. Yes, so we'll begin 8th. Go ahead, Mataji.
Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit saved. Text 1. Sutuvacha atha te samparetanam swanam udkam ichchatam datum sa Krishna gangayam purak pratya yayustriya. Translation. Sut Goswami said, thereafter the Pandavas, desiring to deliver water to the dead relatives who had desired it, went to the Ganges with Draupadi. The ladies walked in front. Purport. To date, it is the custom in Hindu society to go to the Ganges or any other sacred river to take bath when death occurs in the family. Each of the family members pours out a potful of the Ganges water for the departed soul and walks in a procession with the ladies in the front. The Pandavas followed the rules more than 5,000 years ago. Lord Krishna being a cousin of the Pandavas, who also amongst the family members. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Continue, Mataji.
Text 2. te ninyo sarve vilapya cha prasham punha apluto hi padam cha rajhaputa sarijjale. Translation. Having lamented over them and sufficiently offered Ganges water, they bathed in the Ganges, whose water is sanctified due to being mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. Text 3. Tatrashinam purupatim dhratrashraya sahanujam gandharim putra shokartham pratham krishnam cha madhava. Translation. There sat the king of Kurus, Maharaj Yudhishthir, along with his younger brother, and Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Kunti, and Draupadi, all overwhelmed with grief. Lord Krishna was also there. Purport. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought between family members, and thus all affected persons were also family members like Maharaj Yudhishthir and brothers Kunti, Draupadi, Subhadra, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, and her daughters-in-law, etc. All the principal dead bodies were in some way or other related with each other, and therefore the family grief was combined. Lord Krishna was also one of them as a cousin of the Pandavas and nephew of Kunti, as well as brother of Subhadra, etc. The Lord therefore was equally sympathetic toward all of them, and therefore he began to pacify them befittingly. Text 4. Santvayam asa munibhir hata bandhum sucharpitam bhuteshu kalasya gatim dharshayanna parikriyam. Translation. Citing the stringent laws of the Almighty and their reactions upon living beings, Lord Sri Krishna and the Munis began to pacify those who were shocked and affected. Purport. The stringent laws of nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be altered by any living entity. The living entities are eternally under the subjugation of the Almighty Lord. The Lord makes all the laws and orders, and these laws and orders are generally called dharma or religion. No one can create any religious formula. Bona fide religion is to be abide by the orders of Lord. The Lord's orders are clearly declared in the Bhagavad Gita. Everyone should follow him only or his orders, and that will make all happy, both materially and spiritually. As long as we are in the material world, our duty is to follow the orders of the Lord. And if by the grace of the Lord we are liberated from the clutches of the material world, then in our liberated stage also we can render transcendental loving service unto the Lord. In our material stage, we can see neither ourselves nor the Lord for want of spiritual vision. But when we are liberated from material affection and are situated in our original spiritual form, we can see both ourselves and the Lord face to face. Mukti means to be reinstated in one's original spiritual status after giving up the material conception of life.
Yes, this is a main line. Huh? These gems are there. Mukti means to be reinstated in one's original spiritual status after giving up the material conception of life. So this you can do. इसलिए बोलते हैं जीवन मुक्ते संग से कि one can be liberated even in this material life also. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको ये शरीर जाएगा, आपको spiritual body मिलेगी तभी मुक्ति. Because mukti you can get the moment we are out of this conception or material conception of life, that the devotee is liberated. Then it is just a practicing stage for him to perform bhakti in the after death like this. So it is not कि मरने के बाद ही मुक्ति मिलती है, but mukti we can get if we get free from the material conception of life. Yes, Madhaj, go ahead.
Therefore, human life is specially meant for qualifying ourselves for this spiritual liberty. Unfortunately, under the influence of illusory material energy, we accept this spot life of only a few years as our permanent existence and thus become illusioned by possessing so-called country, home, land, children, wife, community, wealth, etc., which are false representation created by Maya, illusion. And under the dictation of Maya, we find with one another to protect these false possessions. By cultivating spiritual knowledge, we can realize that we have nothing to do with all these material paraphernalia. Then at once we become free from material attachment. This clearance of the misgivings of material existence at once takes place by association with the Lord's devotee, who are able to inject the transcendental sound into the depth of the bewildered heart and thus make one practically liberated from all lamentation and illusion. That is a summary of the pacifying measures for those affected by reaction of stringent material laws exhibited in the forms of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are insoluble factors of material existence. The victims of war, namely the family members of Kurus, were lamenting the problems of death, and the Lord pacified them on the basis of knowledge.
Thank you, Mataji. So we can see, there is not much explanation required, but हम देख सकते हैं कि it's a very nice, deep philosophy, also culture, what we need to practice. Thank you, Mataji. Now, next, Rameshwar Gaurang Prabhu. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead, Prabhu. We are still, 16 devotees are still continuing. Is wonderful.
Adhyetva jata shatruhu swam rajyam katver hritam ghatyayitva sho tvasto ragya kacha sparsha kasha kashtayusha ayusha. The clever Duryodhan and his party cunningly usurped. What is it, Prabhu? Usurped. So
Yes,
the clever Duryodhan and his party cunningly usurped the kingdom of Yudhishthir, who had no enemy. By the grace of the Lord, the recovery was executed, and the unscrupulous kings who joined with Duryodhan were killed by him. Others also died, and their duration of life having decreased for their rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi. Purport: in the glorious days or before the advent of the age of Kali, the Brahmins, the cows, the women, the children, and the old men were properly given protection. Number one, the protection of the Brahmins maintains the institution of Varna and Ashram, the most scientific culture for attainment of spiritual life. 2. The protection of cows maintain the most miraculous form of food, that is milk, for maintaining the finer tissues of the brain, for understanding higher aims of life. 3. The protection of women maintains the chastity of society, by which we can get good generation for peace, tranquility, and progress of life. The protection of children gives the human form of life its best chance to prepare the way of liberty from material bondage. Such protection of children begins from very day of begetting a child by the purificatory process of garbhadharan samskar, the beginning of pure life. 5. Protection of the old men gives them a chance to prepare themselves for better life after death. This complete outlook is based on factors leading to successful humanity as against the civilization of polished cats and dogs. The killing of the above mentioned innocent creatures is totally forbidden, because even by insulting them, one loses one's duration of life. In the age of Kali, they are not properly protected, and therefore the duration of life of the present generation has shortened considerably. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that when the woman became unchaste for the want of proper protection, there are unwanted children called Varna Sankar. To insult a chaste woman means to bring about a disaster in the duration of life. Dushasan, a brother of Duryodhan, insulted Draupadi, an ideal chaste lady, and therefore the miscreants died untimely. These are some of the stringent laws of the Lord mentioned above.
We can also see the character of, like when we discuss like this. So you can see how when Draupadi's children died and that killer is in front of him, then she's saying, forgive him. And you remember what happened to Gandhari, you remember? And then she cursed Krishna, that whole dynasty will be lost as mine is lost. So there is one line of being chaste and moral, and that is another one far, far above of being a devotee. So both the things are done at a different level of consciousness. So it is just not that Draupadi and Kunti that they're just moral, but they are also very elevated devotees of the Lord, and these qualities are coming naturally from them, like this. But still, like Prabhupada was saying, the chaste woman, if one troubles a chaste woman or insults a chaste woman, then the reaction is very fast. Severe reaction like this. And that is a reason women are protected, cows are protected, Brahmins are protected, old people are protected. These 5 are protected. And the reason also Prabhupada is giving the reason also why these 5 are, why the 5 are protected. So if you want to run a proper Varnashram society, all these 5 should be protected, like this. So this is the reason. And they each get potency. They each make spiritual progress. Consciously or subconsciously make progress. Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead.
8.6. Yajyaviti yajyayitva ashvameghastam tatrabhi tribhiruttam kalpaka tadyasya pavanam dikshu shatamanyor ivatano. Translation. Lord Shri Krishna caused 3 well-performed Ashwamedh horse sacrifices to be conducted by Maharaj Yudhishthir, and thus caused his various virtuous fame to be glorified in all directions, like that of Indra, who had performed 100 such sacrifices. But this is something like the preface to the performances of Ashwamedh Yagya by Maharaj Yudhishthir. The comparison of Maharaj Yudhishthir to the King of Heaven is significant. The King of Heaven is thousands and thousands of times greater than Maharaj Yudhishthir in opulence. Yet, the fame of Maharaj Yudhishthir was not less. The reason is that Maharaj Yudhishthir was a pure devotee of the Lord, and by his grace only was the King Yudhishthir on the level of the King of Heaven, even though he performed only 3 yagyas, whereas the King of Heaven performed hundreds. This is the prerogative of the devotee of the Lord. The Lord is equal to everyone, but a devotee of the Lord is more glorified because he is always in touch with the all great. The sun rays are equally distributed, but still there are some places which are always dark. This is not due to the sun, but the receptive power. Similarly, those who are cent% devotees of the Lord get the full-fledged mercy of the Lord, which is always equally distributed everywhere.
So we can see again the same thing which I was speaking about, the moral character of Gandhari and the Draupadi, both moral, but one is glorified because she's a devotee. So moral will have its value, it will have its values, but its place. But a devotee, because all the qualities are coming from the level of soul and also getting mercy of, Krishna, then all the qualities of demigods, जो हम पढ़ते हैं भागवतम में एक श्लोक आता है, वो अपने आप भक्तों में विकसित होती हैं by Krishna's mercy. You don't have to do. And similarly, we see here कि Bhagavatam, you see what is the glorification done of Arjun and Yudhishthir, and what is glorification done of Indra, जिन्होंने 100 अश्वमेघ यज्ञ करके इंद्र बनते हैं, है ना? तो 100 अश्वमेघ करके इंद्र की पोस्ट मिलती है, और यहाँ 3 अश्वमेघ पोस्ट करके ही his glories are sung in Bhagavatam, जो इंद्र से भी ज्यादा है, like this. तो ये युधिष्ठिर महाराज यही करते थे, वो अलग अलग यज्ञ करते रहते थे. इन दोनों के बीच में चलता रहता था, कृष्ण और अर्जुन के बीच में, कि जो कृष्ण है, ये हस्तिनापुर से बार बार कृष्ण को महाराज युधिष्ठिर को लाते थे, कि ताकि इसी बहाने यज्ञ करेंगे तो बोलेंगे हमारे घर में फंक्शन है आइए, हमारे घर में फंक्शन है आइए. इस तरह से उनको बुलाते रहते थे. हाँ, और इसीलिए वो हस्तिनापुर वाले वो बड़े हैरान होते थे, ये हो क्या रहा है वहाँ, हर बार कुछ ना कुछ चलता ही रहता है. तो युधिष्ठिर महाराज ये करते थे, बार बार यज्ञ करते थे, अब ये यज्ञ करना है, अब ये यज्ञ करना है, अब आ जाइए, अब ये यज्ञ करना है. Because that, the attachment was so high with Krishna. That's why they glorified so much. Other qualities, they are coming as a byproduct. Their main quality is attachment to Krishna, and they are such surrendered devotees of Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. और कौन है आपके आगे है कोई? Yes.
Yes.
Ankur Prabhu?
जी
Go ahead.
प्रभु जी. हाँ.
You read the verse.
Sure. जी. आमंत्र्य पांडुपुत्रांश्च शैनयो धव संयुक्त द्वैपायना आदि भिर्विप्रे पूजिते प्रतिपूजिता. Lord Shri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited the sons of Pandu after having been worshipped by the Brahmanas, headed by Srila Vyasadeva. The Lord also reciprocated greetings. Apparently, Lord Shri Krishna was a Kshatriya and was not worshipable by the Brahmanas. But the Brahmans present there, headed by Srila Vyasadeva, all knew him to be the personality of Godhead, and therefore they worshipped him. The Lord reciprocated the greetings just to honor the social order, that the Kshatriya is obedient to the orders of the Brahmanas. Although Lord Shri Krishna was always offered the respect due to the Supreme Lord for all responsible quarters, the Lord never deviated from the customary usages between the four orders of society. The Lord purposely observed all these social customs so that others would follow him in the future.
Correct. So what is happening, कि जब भगवान लीला करते हैं, जब नर लीला करते हैं, तो जो भगवान के भक्त हैं, they facilitate that part. Like Narad ji will come, Krishna will worship his feet. Narad knows who's Krishna, but just to facilitate that leela, that they don't want to, उसमें रसाभास नहीं लाना चाहते हैं, so they do it. So similarly, Lord Krishna also, he would take Yudhishthira as elder, behave like this with Bhim and Arjun, same level, and with Nakul and Sadev junior. So that rasa he's enjoying of Sakhya Bhav, with the same age, younger and the elder in a proper manner. Yes, Ruby, go ahead.
जी. गंतुम कृतम अतिर ब्राह्मण द्वारकाम रथम अस्थित उपलभे अभि धावन्तिम उत्तराम भय विहलाम. As soon as he seated himself on the chariot to start for Dwarika, he saw Uttara hurrying toward him in fear. All the members of the family of the Pandavas were completely dependent on the protection of the Lord, and therefore the Lord protected all of them in all circumstances. The Lord protects everyone, but one who depends completely upon him is specially looked after by the Lord. The father is more attentive to the little son who is exclusively dependent on the father.
है ना? So similarly, जो हम पढ़ते भी हैं कि वो जो कि कैसे एक छोटा जो जानवर का बच्चा है वो पूरा, या एक छोटा बच्चा जो है वो पूरा फादर पे डिपेंडेंट होता है. कि who is my maintainer? Krishna. We should understand, FDs are not my maintainer, mutual funds are not my maintainer, doctor is not my maintainer, my boss is not my maintainer, my company is not my maintainer, my husband is not my maintainer. Who's my maintainer? Krishna is my maintainer. He is maintaining us, So we should know others may be an instrument, but my real maintainer is them. So we should put our faith in Krishna, not in our relatives, with our spouse, with our family, with our money, with my company, with our bank. Maintenance that we are being maintained by. So जब हम भगवान से इस भाव के साथ हम अपना जीवन जीते हैं, then ये यथा माम प्रपद्यन्ते ताम सुतः भजामि हम. So as much we show our surrender, then Krishna also takes care in that manner. So then that's a very wonderful journey to go through that. So this is the why it's written, Lord protects everyone. Of course, he's protecting everyone. He's protecting animal also, elephant also, ant also. Everybody is protecting, just not human species. But one who depends completely upon him is especially looked after by the Lord. Why? Because the devotee is so surrendered to him. The devotee feels that Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer. Like that. So in that bhav, then Krishna also reciprocates in that bhav. Yes, true.
Uttaro uvacha pahi pahi mahayogin dev deva jagatpate na anyam tvad abhayam pashe yatra mrityu parasparam. Uttara said, O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. Please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. This material world is the world of duality, in contrast with the oneness of the absolute realm. The world of duality is composed of matter and spirit, whereas the absolute world is complete spirit, without any tinge of the material qualities. In the dual world, everyone is falsely trying to become the master of the world, whereas in the absolute world, the Lord is the absolute Lord and all others are his absolute servitors. In the world of duality, everyone is envious of all others, and death is inevitable due to the dual existence of matter and spirit. The Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness for the surrendered soul. One cannot save himself from the cruel hands of death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord.
So this is a wonderful verse to memorize. Pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpate na anyam tvad abhyam pashe yatra mrityu parasparam. तो जब हम कष्ट में आते हैं, कोई हमें तकलीफ है, so this is a wonderful verse to memorize and pray to Krishna. कि हे Krishna, Lord of the universe, Mahayogi, the greatest of the mystics, worshipable of the worship, Deva Deva, Jagatpate. So first, या पढ़ेंगे आगे जाके, I think first canto के एंड में या सेकंड कैंटो के बिगिनिंग में आता है. फर्स्ट कैंटो में ही आता है कि प्रभुपाद या भागवतम बताती है किस तरह से भगवान की प्रार्थना कैसे करनी चाहिए. तो प्रार्थना करने से पहले हमेशा भगवान का गुणगान करना चाहिए. तो ये आप पाएंगे कि जो प्रार्थना है वो सारी उसी मूड में है. सो देव देवा जगतपते. सो अब क्या कर रहे हैं, ना अन्यम, कि और कोई नहीं है, त्वत् अभ्यम, कि जो मुझे इस भय से मुक्ति दिला सके, और मैं किसी को पश्चिम और किसी को नहीं देखती हूँ कहीं भी. यत्त मृत्यु परस्परम, इन द वर्ल्ड ऑफ दिस ड्युअलिटी, कि यू आर द ग्रेटेस्ट ऑफ द मिस्टेक्स. प्लीज protect me, for there is no one else who save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. So we can see, maybe Draupadi also had a similar mood. So it's a very wonderful verse to memorize. Pahi pahi mahayogim deva deva jagatpate nanyam tvadabhyam pashe yatra mrityu parasparam. And because it is spoken by such a wonderful devotee of Krishna, Uttara, then obviously Krishna will have a little soft corner for us, because we are repeating the prayers of his dear devotees. And all the Pandavas, and also the Draupadi, Uttara, Kunti Maharani, very dear devotees of Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. So, 16 रह गए हैं. You want to continue?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Okay. Go ahead, Prabhuji. Read the next one.
Abhidravati mam isha saras tapta yaso vibho kamam dahatu mam natha mame garbho nipatyatam. O my Lord, you are all powerful. A fiery iron arrow is coming towards me fast. My Lord, let it burn me personally if you so desire, but please do not let it burn and abort my embryo. Please do me this favor, my Lord. This incident took place after the death of Abhimanyu, the husband of Uttara. Abhimanyu's widow Uttara should have followed the path of her husband, but because she was pregnant and Maharaj Parikshit, a great devotee of the Lord, was lying in embryo, she was responsible for his protection. The mother of a child has a great responsibility in giving all protection to the child, and therefore Uttara was not ashamed to express this frankly before Lord Krishna. Uttara was the daughter of a great king, the wife of a great hero, and student of a great devotee, and later she was the mother of a good king also. She was fortunate in every respect.
Hmm. So we can see the character of women. And now, mothers are killing child in their womb just because of sense gratification. Or in India, the halat is so pathetic that they want a male child, so they kill the, female child in the womb. And otherwise, also we see there's all lot of sense gratification goes on. But here the mother is crying, "Okay, let the arrow kill me, no problem. But the duty toward my son is there. So please save my son." Like this. So what we'll do, we'll take because now a different section will start. Now, what will Krishna do? Now, the Brahmastra come, and what happens? So a new section comes. So we have read almost 1.5 hours. We want to read more? I can read more. I'm just looking at it.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Huh? Okay, then go ahead. Then let's keep on reading. Go. So read 1 or 2 shlokas. Ronnie Prabhu, I'll just close the altar and just continue. Then we can read. I'll just be back in 5 minutes. Go ahead, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Sut uvacha उपधार्य वचस्तस्य भगवान भक्तवत्सल अपांडवम idam kartum द्रोणेरस्त्रम बुध्यते. Suta Goswami said, having patiently heard her words, Lord Sri Krishna, who is always very affectionate to his devotees, could at once understand that Ashwathama, the son of Dronacharya, had thrown the Brahmastra to finish the last life in the Pandav family. The Lord is impartial in every respect, but still he is inclined towards his devotees because there is a great necessity of this for everyone's well-being. The Pandav family was a family of devotees, and therefore the Lord wanted them to rule the world. That was the reason he vanquished the rule of the company of Duryodhan and established the rule of Maharaj Yudhishthir. Therefore, he also wanted to protect Maharaja Parikshit, who was lying in embryo. He did not like the idea that the world should be without the Pandavas, the ideal family of devotees. तरही वात है मुनिश्रेष्ठ पांडवा पंचसायकान आत्मनो अभिमुखान दीप्तान आलक्ष्य अस्त्राणि उपाददुः. O foremost among the great thinkers, Munis, Shaunaka, seeing the glaring Brahmastra proceeding towards them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. The Brahmastras are finer than the nuclear weapons. Ashwathama discharged the Brahmastra simply to kill the Pandavas, namely the 5 brothers headed by Maharaj Yudhishthir and their only grandson, who was lying within the womb of Uttara. Therefore, the Brahmastra, more effective and finer than the atomic weapons, was not as blind as the atomic bombs. When the atomic bombs are discharged, they do not discriminate between the target and others. Mainly, the atomic bombs do harm to the innocent because there is no control. The Brahmastra is not like that. It marks out the target and proceeds accordingly without harming the innocent. Vyasanam Bikshat Tatesham Ananya Vishayatmanam Sudarshanena Swastrena Swanam Raksham Vyadha Vibhu. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, having observed that a great danger was befalling his unalloyed devotees, who were fully surrendered souls, at once took up his Sudarshan disc to protect them. The Brahmastra, the supreme weapon released by Ashwathama, was something similar to the nuclear weapon, but with more radiation and heat. This Brahmastra is the product of a more subtle science, being the product of a finer sound, a mantra recorded in the Vedas. Another advantage of this weapon is that it is not blind like the nuclear weapon because it can be directed only to the targeted and nothing else. Ashwathama released the weapon just to finish all the male members of Pandu's family. Therefore, in one sense, it was more dangerous than atomic bomb because it could penetrate even the most protected place and would never miss the target. Knowing all this, Lord Krishna at once took up his personal weapon to protect his devotees, who did not know anyone other than Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has clearly promised that his devotees are never to be vanquished, and he behaves according to the quality or degree of the devotional service rendered by the devotees. Here, the word Ananya Vishaya Atmanam is significant. The Pandavas were 100% dependent on the protection of the Lord, although they were all great warriors themselves. But the Lord neglects even the greatest warriors and also vanquishes them in no time. When the Lord saw that there was no time for the Pandavas to counteract the Brahmastra of Ashwathama, he took up his weapon even at the risk of breaking his own vow. Although the battle of Kurukshetra was almost finished, still according to his vow, he should not have taken up his own weapon. But the emergency was more important than the vow. He is better known as the Bhakta Vatsala or the lover of his devotees, and thus he preferred to continue as Bhakta Vatsal than to be a worldly moralist who never breaks his solemn vow.
So this is a very important purport to understand what is how Krishna behaves with us. That he is willing to break his vow. So all these things we see in Bhishma pastime also, just to keep the Bhishma's word, he broke his own word. So this is the Bhakvatsalya. So when Krishna has different energies, different characteristics. So, but the main one, one of the main one to be Bhakvatsalya, to be, to have the kripa and to love for his devotees. For that, he is willing to go through anything like this. Okay. Go ahead, bro.
Ji. अंतस्त सर्वभूतानाम आत्मा योगेश्वरो हरि स्वमायया वृणो गर्भम वैराट्यः कुरुतन्तवे. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Sri Krishna, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism can simultaneously reside within everyone's heart or even within the atoms by his Paramatma feature. His plenary portion, therefore, from within the body of Uttara, he covered the embryo to save Maharaj Parikshit and protect the progeny of Maharaj Kuru, of whom King Pandu was also a descendant. Both the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu belonged to the same dynasty of Maharaj Kuru. Therefore, both of them were generally known as Kurus. But when there were differences between the two families, the sons of Dhritarashtra were known as Kurus, whereas the sons of Pandu were known as Pandavas. Since the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra were all killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, the last son of the dynasty, is designated as the son of the Kurus. Yet Yadyapyastram Brahma Shirastvamogham Chapratikriyam Vaishnavam Teja Asadhya Samashamyad Brigudvaha. O Shaunaka, glory of Brigu's family. Although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by Ashwathama was irresistible and without check or counter action, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted by the strength of Vishnu, Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Brahma Jyoti, or the glowing transcendental effulgence, is resting on Lord Sri Krishna. In other words, the glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tejas is nothing but the rays of the Lord, just as the sun rays are rays of the sun disk. So this Brahma weapon also, although materially irresistible, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord. The weapon called Brahmastra, released by Ashwathama, was neutralized and foiled by Lord Sri Krishna by his own energy. That is to say, he did not wait for any other's help because he is absolute. Ma mansta he etad ascharya sarvascharya ye chutte ya idam maya devya srijatyavati hantyajah. O Brahmans, do not think this to be especially wonderful in the activities of the mysterious and infallible personality of Godhead. By his own transcendental energy, he creates, maintains, and annihilates all material things, although he himself is unborn. The activities of the Lord are always inconceivable to the tiny brain of the living entities. Nothing is impossible for the Supreme Lord, but all his actions are wonderful for us. And thus, he is always beyond the range of our conceivable limits. The Lord is the all powerful, all perfect personality of Godhead. The Lord is cent percent perfect, whereas others, namely Narayan, Brahma, Shiv, the demigods, and all other living beings, possess only different percentages of such perfection. No one is equal to or greater than him. He is unrivaled.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Uncle Prabhu. Mani Prabhu, you want to read more? You raise your hand.
So if you allow,
I'm very happy to hear Bhagavatam from all of you.
Brahma Tejor Vinirmukter Atmajay Sah Krishnaya Prayana Abhimukham Krishnam Idam Aha Pritha Sati. Thus, saved from the radiation of the Brahmastra, Kunti, the chaste devotee of the Lord, and her 5 sons, and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started for home. Kunti is described herein as Sati, or chaste, due to her unalloyed devotion to Lord Shri Krishna. Her mind will now be expressed in the following prayers for Lord Krishna. A chaste devotee of the Lord does not look to others, namely any other living being or demigod, even for the deliverance from danger. That was all along the characteristic of the whole family of the Pandavas. They knew nothing except Krishna, and therefore the Lord was also always ready to help them in all respects and in all circumstances. That is the transcendental nature of the Lord. He reciprocates the dependence of the devotee. One should not therefore look for help from imperfect living beings or demigods, but one should look for all help from Lord Krishna, who is competent to save his devotees. Such a chaste devotee also never asks the Lord for help, but the Lord, out of his own accord, is always anxious to render it. So, should we continue, or was there a few
Continue. I'm
devotees
just
left?
watching Krishna's plate. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm hearing.
I was just wondering that because there are very few devotees, they will miss out this section further. Or should we read this whole thing again when
नहीं
others?
नहीं, we not read again. हाँ, क्योंकि ये section, हाँ, ये भी एक अच्छा वो है reason कि ये सारा ये section ये लोग miss कर जाएंगे.
Yeah,
They are going to miss this section. Correct.
because the Kunti Maharani's prayers are going to start.
This is हाँ, Kunti Maharani की prayer अब start हो रही है. So so ठीक है प्रभु. So we have read for almost 1.5 hours, a little more.
Yeah.
We have read. है ना? So we'll take a break. कौन है अभी? आनंद विलासी माता जी की जय हो, पिंकी माता जी की जय हो, योगेश प्रभु की जय हो, अनिताई प्रभु की जय हो, अंकुश शर्मा प्रभु की जय हो, रानी प्रभु की जय हो, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो. So we will end the class now, and those who have still got that kripa and taste, so we can continue to read. अब जाके मैं भी यही करूँगा प्रभु जी की. Just continue the sequence, continue to read Bhagavatam. Best way, or we can put our hand in the mala and start chanting, and if not, then we can read Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavatam till we fall in the lap of Nidra Devi. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Pancha kalpatru bhesa kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. पांडव निष्ठाय काशी की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. Thy God, Premanande.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for